We are here, y'all. Ooh, y'all, the emotions hit me.
Here,
Hit me. It hit me. We are here.
here.
If you all are joining us, please, 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 please let us know where y'all are coming from, your name, where you're coming from, and let us know that you are here. We can see all of the comments. I already see Kim was
Hey,
waiting.
Kim.
Kim was waiting on YouTube for us. Woo. The emotions hit me about 5 minutes before I got on live, y'all. So if y'all are here, make sure that you let us know you are here. Hey, Katrina, I see you. I see you from Iowa. This is how we connected, right? Let us know that you are here. Let us know where you are coming from. Also, make sure you tag a friend. Your friends need to know that you're here. They need to know the brilliance. They need to know the community. Yes, 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 Kim. You're supposed to be in this room with us, Kim. Go check your Slack. I might throw you in here still. Go check your Slack. But I am so excited to be here with you all. Make sure you tag a friend. Make sure you bring them in here. We have so much to offer you all today, and I'm so excited to be kicking this off. In August, it's my birthday week. It is also the launch of Igniting Inc. And we are going to be talking about all the things journal related, community related, writing related. It's your girl, Heather Byrd. If you have not met me yet, I am an award winning writer, your favorite writing coach, and CEO of Bird's World Publishing, where we are on a mission to empower 1,000 women of color to write and publish their books so that they can turn their message into a movement. And do y'all see who is rolling with me today? Do y'all see who is in this room right now? Josie. Do y'all see who is here? These women, y'all will get to know. We will go around the room and have a chance to introduce ourselves and tell the folks who we are and why we are here. But when I tell you all have no idea the force, the magic, the beauty that you are just in community with right now. So this is not a one-way conversation. Yes. Hey, Jade. Look here. This is not a one-way conversation. This is a opportunity to be in community with us. So as you can see, we're going to pull you into the live. No one is a stranger here. So I am going to step back and I am going to allow folks to go around the room and introduce themselves. And one of the things that we do when we have a new member that joins our community, and you all in this moment are new members, you are here with us in this movement with us, right? So while you are here with us, one of the things that we do is we go around the room and we introduce ourselves by saying our name, where our feet are planted, pronouns if we choose, and then what question do we want to go with, Catherine and Joan? Catherine and Joan are my co-hosts for today. Y'all give it up for Catherine and Joan. Like we can celebrate.
What?
But
Wait,
what
I got a question. Where the
what's
pom
up?
poms at? I'll be right back.
Look how she just
Pom
walked
pom
around.
time already.
You know,
The poms are out.
pop
Here we
pops
go.
on deck.
Here we
Oh,
go.
oh wait, I'm talking, and I realize I gotta go get my pom poms. Okay, cool.
Me
So
too.
that we gonna do that. Joan and Catherine, anything you want to say to the people?
Well, just thank you for showing up. That's always what we acknowledge in this group. Sometimes it's early, and I'm just like, oh, and oh, but thank you for showing up because that is just the beginning. That's the beginning of dreams starting. That's the beginning of friendships getting ignited. That's the beginning of books getting launched. So, so yeah, that part.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
Yeah,
are we
my
asking what's the question?
question,
Oh, go ahead,
yeah,
Catherine.
I mean, my question is, and I'll say hello in a bit, but my question is, um, instead of one breath, now sort of one phrase, what brought you into our space tonight?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Mm. All right,
Hmm.
here we go. So we got the question. So we have our name, pronouns if we choose, where our feet are planted. Thank you, Joan, for that lovely offering. And then the question of what's the question again, Catherine?
what brought you into the space this evening?
Mm,
Ooh.
mm. Who wants to hop in there?
I'll go. Feet are planted in Connecticut. My name is Joan. I'm a poet. And what brought me here? I can't be anyplace else because this is where I come alive. I
Mm.
start my day with these wonderful women, sometimes end my day with these wonderful women. And it's, yeah, what brought me here is these wonderful women. I'm here showing up. There's no place I'd rather be with my sister resistors.
Sorry, y'all.
I am Barbara.
Hey,
My feet
AJ.
are planted to you. My feet are planted in Maryland. My pronouns are she, her. I will respond to any that are said respectfully. My reason for being here is because I needed to be here. Because writing and taking a dream from inside of me and bringing it out to paper, and that, even before it gets to the paper, to the women in the room, because it's hard to get things on paper for me. I don't know about others, but it's got to make sense. It's got to come out of me and go somewhere. And to have a space where it's received and it is molded and then it can become something I can see. That's why I'm here. Because once you've experienced that, you realize, oh yeah, and I think this. This is where the dream that I have inside can be born into something real. Like it can become something tangible. So that's why I'm here. I want to share that piece, that magic.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Well, my name is Regina, and my feet are planted in Pflugerville, Texas. Sounds a lot like Dr. Seuss. And I'm here. I'm here because of these women. That I'm here because I found a place where I belong, where I'm seen, where I'm heard, and I'm validated. So that's why I'm here. I'm a poet, and I'm working on a chapbook. I'm a published poet. Thank you very much.
Yo, I couldn't
Okay.
Yeah, again. That one.
enough.
I love the way Regina self-corrects now.
Yes.
Okay, I guess it's me. I'm Cassie, and I am a writer, soon to be a published author. I am here because my sister brought me along, and I stay because this is where I need to be. And I love these women.
I knew the pom-pom.
This is why we have pom poms.
Reason why we have pom poms, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole backstory of that, but the reason why we had to go out and buy pom poms. Cassie. Mm-hmm.
So aloha kako, everyone. I am Catherine. My feet are planted in Massachusetts by way of Hawaii. Why am I here and what brought me to this space is, as this group knows, I've learned to think in threes, this is a space that is completely grounding, that it grounds me as an author of this upcoming book, Hush Stories, but it also grounds us in who we are and what we stand for and who we stand with. There's so much going on in the world, and this is a place where, as Joan says, right, like I start my day and I often end my day. But it's also a place where we can grow with grace, that there is not a sense of competition. There is not that sort of colonized for women of color where we need to compete, where we need to see who's better than each other, where we need to sort of say, we can't. So we don't apologize. We don't say we can't. We say, how can we help you? And so this idea that we grow with grace, that we grow with grief, that many of us have experienced unimaginable losses, but this is not a place where we apologize for that loss. What we do is we share it through love. And then through that, we become women of color as a community that is greatness personified. that we are not just authors, right? That we are authors in community. I know that I write better because of these women. I write with passion because of these women. I write things that are hard because of these women. I don't throw people under the bus when I write because of these women. And so that's what brought me here.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Catherine.
Yeah. Welcome. If y'all don't know, now you know. Oh my goodness. There is something about you, Catherine. Every time you open your mouth and share a word, a sentence, a phrase, like you just ignite something within all of us and allow us to see ourselves in a way that we've never seen ourselves before. And I thank you so much for all that you are, and for being in community with us, and for just being a champion of this work. Like, mm, 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 mm. Whew. Well, we are not the only ones in conversation here right now. So if you all would like to know why you showed up here today, make sure you let us know why you are here today. I see already. Look here. We already have someone in this chat talking about what brought them here is how they can commit to writing every day.
Every day.
Talking about what that looks like, right? So again, we are in community with you all today. So make sure you are hopping in the comment section. We can see your comments. We can respond. We are here with you, and we appreciate you being in space with us. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Well, here's the fun part. Let's get to something a little fun, right? Y'all always make fun of me about how we met and how we found this group. There's always a story behind how we met. Who wants to hop in there and tell the how we found this group story?
Go, Catherine.
Well, I mean, Regina can do it too. I mean, we all have our own versions, but
Yeah.
This group started. So how many of you sort of in this audience have done this? Someone asks you a question and your first answer is yes, even though you know the answer is no, right? Someone asks you, have you blah, 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 and you just quickly go to yes because that's an automatic response. But in the back of your head, you're just like, no, I didn't really. So Heather was coaching many of us, and individually, one-on-ones, or in small groups, and she would give tasks as a teacher would. She's a consummate educator. And then, next meeting, she goes, Catherine, Regina, have you blah, blah, blah. And unbeknownst to us, all of us were yesing her, but really not getting the writing done at the pace or even at all. And Heather, in Blessed Way, was trying, have you tried morning pages on your own? Have you, and again, I wouldn't lie because I would try it once, but I didn't necessarily try it really. So I still yesed her. So finally she realized that all of us were doing that, and she was just like, this is not working. So she said, all right, experiment. I'm going to start morning pages January 5th of 2022, 3. And y'all got to get up. And she said, I'm not a morning person, so y'all need to know this is a commitment on my part. Y'all got to get up. Wherever you are in the country, you're getting up at Central Time at 6:30, and you're going to write for 30 minutes. And unfiltered. And I was like, all right, well, if some people are going to do it, I guess I'll get up. And what turned out to be a 2-month experiment has not stopped. And that is the power of what it means to be in community. Because what we discovered, and I know I discovered, is I write in community. I don't write in isolation. I'm from the collective culture. I am from the Ohana Hawaii. I'm from the Talk Story. And we push each other and hold each other accountable. And Joan said something that actually brought us to tears the other day, where she said, had you all stopped in 2 months, she would have met, because she came in March. If we had ended in February, many of the folks that you're seeing on this screen right now we would not have met. Oh, I'm getting emotional.
Mm.
And that's powerful and significant.
Yeah.
Regina?
Yeah. Yeah. Because we were both yesing Heather. And, or, you know, we were doing little bits.
Mhm.
We were doing little bits. I'll give us that. We weren't really moving. We weren't really. We weren't really. Um, we didn't. We didn't really see the ourselves moving toward that goal of writing that book. We yeah, and it wasn't like we didn't some level think we could, but we needed Heather to push us. We needed Heather to say, okay, y'all gonna be together and you're going to, if you don't show up, somebody's gonna call you because they were gonna be like, I showed up, where were you? So, and then there was Joan. Yes, Joan, who came to Chicago on a simple invitation.
No. We gonna
No.
We rolling
No.
this back. We rolling this
No.
back. Because you trying to summarize this like I don't know why you leaving out all the good details. I'm confused.
Okay, juicy. Let's get juicy. Okay.
All right.
Juicy.
You know what? I'm going to let Joan tell that story.
Okay. So I have a question for everybody gathered that you won't answer, but right now while I tell the story, but think about it. How many of you have yearned for that friend that can see your joy, who can celebrate with you? Well,
Right.
I found her and them through this magical it's hard to describe some of it, but I think it's important for people who are listening to realize that this is not a cult, this is not a weird group. This is really when you say yes, like Catherine referenced earlier, when you say yes to yourself, you then get to tap into taking these beautiful, joyful leaps. And so I had Heather in my email. I didn't know that for just maybe a year or 2 or 3, I don't know. And I had decided I was going to write this one particular weekend on my own. And I saw her video, clicked on the video, loved what the content, and said, I got to meet this woman. So that's how I kind of got into the group. Was I messaged her and she said, join, and I got into the group. As I got into the group, I was side-eyeing it a little bit because, when you come in new to a group, you feel like they're talking, they have history, they have stories, they have familiar laughs. And so that's what I was noticing, was I wasn't left out when I came in. People welcomed me. Like, I'm loving that y'all are here. We can't see your faces, but we can feel your energy. So I felt the energy across the screen. And summer was coming up and I was like, I'm gonna have fun on my birthday. And I was having so much fun with these women, and I said, what, I really need to come and visit you someday. And that's how it started. It was sort of like, well, we got to like, well, okay, you could come to Chicago. And that's how it started, and
I got another bedroom.
Mind
yeah.
you,
So
we've
then
never met in person. This
I
is
hadn't met her in person.
we had never met Joan. I've known Regina for over 10 years.
Yeah.
I've never met in person Joan. And here we are in this space talking about, because what you originally said, well, because y'all leaving out details, y'all are cracking me up. Because at one point you were like, I don't have any plans for my birthday. It wasn't just I'm gonna hop into. I wanted you. Your birthday was coming up, and you ain't had no plans. And Regina said, "Well, I got an extra bedroom."
Yep.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Huh? Let me check these flight tickets." And then you hopped on a plane.
I did.
to
But
visit.
to visit a woman, I was like, well, I'll rent a car and I'll find where you live, But she's like, no, you won't. I'll pick you up. And I was like, oh.
Like, it was just.
But here's the thing. I think that when you learn, I'm learning to trust myself. It's still a journey.
Yeah.
I'm learning to trust my voice. I'm learning to trust my decisions. I'm learning to trust the women around me to help me trust myself when I can't. So, like Katrina, I see Katrina there in the chat. Katrina's trying hard to do the work, right? And it's learning how to trust yourself through those habits, through those connections, through the promises that you set for yourself that created this, it's very hard to describe, connection that I made to this wonderful group, and visited this woman named Regina, who I'd never met before, and then had one of the best birthday weekends of my life.
It was
made
amazing.
Candles. We did all kinds of things.
It was amazing. And from that trip, we were sitting on Regina's porch.
Oh, true.
And on Regina's porch, we literally declared we need to do this more.
Yeah.
And it needs to happen in person.
Yeah.
And from there, on this balcony, on the 39th floor?
High up.
It was high up. We floor. We started to plan out an in-person retreat that then happened in November. So like there is a rippling effect to all the beautifulness that's happening in this space, being in community with other people. It's always tell folks it's not about what happens on the page. It's about how we're transforming in person.
Yeah.
Right.
All of this is falling into each other in a really, really beautiful way. Right. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I have grown so much. I would have never moved down to Texas. I would have been I would have been up on that 39th floor.
I mean, it was beautiful. I'm not going to
which is a beautiful view, but I wasn't challenging myself to be in other places, be more than what I was and where I was.
Mm-hmm.
You guys gave me the grounding to be able to challenge myself to do that. So, thank you.
I'm going to slide in here real quick. There are two words Regina just said that dovetails into how I got into this group, and that was the challenge, right? And the other word Catherine said earlier was the accountability. Now, the way I met Heather was we were taking a course together, and we became accountability partners, even though we already had accountability partners. Byrd was like, "Nah, you two need to be together." So we were together, and during that journey, I was having a hard time. I was having a hard time coming out of my shell. I'm prone to hiding. And Heather saw through that, and she was like, and she says this to me so thick, "I'm going to challenge you." And whenever she says she's going to challenge you, collect your pearls, because she's going to ask you to get uncomfortable.
Or be like Joan and Cassie and go like this.
Exactly. Collect your pearls or hide, because she is going to see some piece of you, some little thread that can be pulled on to reveal greatness, right? And she's not afraid to pull on that thread when she sees it. And it's very loving. It comes across like, "I'm going to challenge you on that," and hold a chair. And she says to me, "I'm going to challenge you to show up to this writing group and to write this course. Write it. It's in you. We keep talking about it. Put it on paper. Make it happen." And so I was like, "I'm not a writer. I don't know if I should be in this space." And then she does this. She just looks at you while you spin your wheels. She's like, "I'm going to let the excuses go, and then we're going to get to work." Right? And I did. I showed up in this space, and I kept saying, "I'm not a writer." I would always introduce myself, "I'm not a writer." And I would do this thing, and I continued to hide. And she continued to invite me into the space, and then continued to challenge me to grow and to continue to produce. She never challenged my story around who I was, right? I love that. Thank you, Kim. Growing with grace, right? Always, always that grace is in the room. Just show up. Let me see what you did. Here's a challenge. Here's some flowers. I see you growing. Here are some ways you can grow more. And then these women are in the background with their pom-poms like, "Yes, sis, do it," right? So you've got the loving challenge on one side, pressuring you to grow in these wonderful ways. And then you've got this loving group of women who are like, we are here. We're here. The net is here. We got you. We are all growing together. And it's been an amazing journey. It's been amazing to see myself grow and things I've produced coming out of this space, right? The thing that it allows me to create, because every morning we show up and it is bonnets on. Sometimes I'm like, click the bedside lamp on, turn on the phone, grab my journal, still in the bed, but holding on to that commitment that I'm going to show up and I'm going to write for those 30 minutes. I'm going to produce something and it's going to be all mine. And then if I have time, stay in community with my sisters and get some love, right? Get some more things poured on. And if not, commit to those 30 minutes and no more. So it's just like lovely, doable chunk, right? That is just something you can bite into. You start your day knowing you've kept a commitment to yourself and you've accomplished something, right?
Yeah.
And that consistent, that's a word she keeps coming at me with, that consistency, knowing that you're doing it again and again and again. And you don't start with the book fully formed. You start with a small product, and then the consistency, you watch it grow. You keep adding to it, and you keep watching it grow. So that those two words, challenge and accountability, are how I came to this space and what keeps me here. Um, and I'm loving it. I am loving it here. Okay, like the things that are happening. And as I watch women come into this space, and I watch our community grow, and we have new introductions. Every couple of weeks or so, somebody comes into our space, and it's lovely, and we want to continue to see that, right? To keep. I'm looking at those words, like, keep igniting the fire. For anyone, for the women who are like this, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this, and I need the community and I need the support to get it done. It's here. Right? It's here.
Yeah. And then we get to benefit from your brilliance too. Like, because we share. We don't hold on to the knowledge that we have. If there is, what's the thing I do with y'all now? I'm stuck, right? Like, so like if there's ever a wall that we've hit, we collectively come together to break down that wall and to figure out how to move forward. Come on, I see you, Barbara. Like
I was gonna say, if you come with those words, be prepared for notes and action.
Yep.
Right? Be
Every
prepared every time for notes and action.
Every
If you
time.
come
It's like a
in,
tennis match. Boom, boom.
yeah,
Throw it
if
back.
you're genuinely stuck, there is nothing but an excess of brilliance in the room who's like, have you thought about this? What about that? I read this, and it's just like, we're feeding each other and growing from each other. And I didn't believe it, right? When you were like, show up to morning pages and say, I'm stuck. I don't remember what I was stuck on at this point, but I remember I was like, I'm stuck. And I said, I'm stuck. And someone was like, oh, she said she's stuck. It was on. It was just like, it was on. And brilliance just poured out and in and into me and out of the women who were in this space. So it's
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. It's there. It's there. Cassie, you real quiet over there. That ain't normal.
Because I'm the quiet one in the group.
Yeah, okay.
We are now telling lies. We have to end the live, y'all. I'm so sorry. We'll be back next week. For what?
How do you meet Heather? Oh, that's right. You are my brother's friend.
You get ready to say word.
I was.
I'm tagging him right now.
In my eyes, you're my friend. So I decided Heather was going to be my friend and my sister because she's just like awesome. And when Morning Pages started, a month into Heather told me about it. And she said, just come. And I don't think I ever told them this. I was like, I'm all grouped out. I'm all zoomed out. I'm all everything out. I was leaving groups and I was like, I don't know. I didn't even want to see group chat. Like I just, but she said I could show up in my bonnet and be myself and be me. So I was like, okay, I was intrigued. So I showed up and I tried to leave. And, I called Heather and I was like, hey, thanks, but this is not for me. It's you. It's me, not you. Just not, but.
She tried to break up with me, y'all.
If you don't get back in here. But she saw something in me. She saw there was fire there that she needed to, for better word, ignite. She saw the writer
And these women was just like, I didn't say I'm stuck, but I kind of alluded to the fact that I was stuck in my own Cassie way.
Mhm.
And I got help. I got, you know, I got what I needed. I got more than I signed up for, more than I bargained for, more than I budget for. So it became my, not just my overflow, it became my and then some. And to a point where,
Mm.
remember the commute where I had different schedule and I had to
Yes.
travel, and I would pull up
And
in the
we knew your
Starbucks parking
Starbucks
lot
order.
and write with these women. That's when I know I was all the way in. I was like, these my girls right here. And I was like, and it became like part of my morning routine. And
Mm.
when, life happened and when life was lifing and I wasn't showing up, they came looking for me. Not one, not two, everybody. Everybody kept looking. I'm talking text, call, video, voice. And it felt good to be in a place, in a space where they only need one Cassie. They only need one Joan. They only need one Catherine, one Regina, one Byrd, one Barbara. We didn't need multiple. And the fact that their Cassie was not there, they noticed, it made a difference. It didn't stop them from doing what they were doing. And just like Regina and Catherine say, I was yesing Heather too. And
there's a theme here that I'm
There's a
noticing.
there's a
was
poem
like,
in that.
and she knows I'm a morning person. She's like, you're already up anyway. I was like,
Girl.
All right, since I'm already up. And the people at Starbucks know me by name. It's how might as well pull up.
Girl, we knew your order by name. Like you just
No.
I don't even know why you got the
So,
coffee in the first place. Now that I think about it, you don't need the coffee. You on a natural high all the time.
no. It's mine then some. Yeah. And it's
That
been
is
the
definitely a
best
bar for a
ride.
poem.
Yo, it is.
Yeah.
It's
It
my
is,
dim sum.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been the
Right.
best ride of my life. These women,
I need to write that down.
accountability, this is the place. You need somebody that's going to, I'm gonna go again with accountability. That's just the word. They're gonna hold you accountable. They're not gonna make you feel bad. This morning I got a mini masterclass and discovered I went throughout the day. I have poems in my journals. I didn't think
Yes.
I did, but
Mm.
got a little mini masterclass. My girl Regina right next to me, and I was like, oh, okay, poet over here, extraordinaire. All right. So
Yep.
this is a
I have a
space.
question.
Yes.
Sounds like you're talking about you were surprised that you had poems in your journal. I would
Oh,
like to ask the group, what
Yes.
surprises what's the biggest surprise you've had about yourself being in this group? And that includes you, got to say that, Heather. You got to participate. Maybe you go first.
ooh.
Well,
Mm. The biggest surprise?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I think the biggest surprise was not only me realizing that I wasn't taking care of myself, like I knew it, but I didn't know how to take care of myself. Um, if y'all ever seen my schedule has been compared to the YMCA activities calendar. It is a little bonkers. And by little, I mean completely, right? And so I think what this group has allowed me to do is allow me to journal through how I can take care of myself, how I can show up for myself first and then be able to show up for others. Um, there have been so many gems. I don't even know where to begin in terms of surprise. Oh no, I know what surprise I got, but I'm gonna wait till the rest of y'all got and then I'm gonna share that surprise.
Well, I can go. I think that one of the biggest surprises for me was that if I wasn't there, somebody missed me.
Mm,
Mm.
mm,
That was a big one. And I'm not going to say too much more about that because I don't need to be crying on the screen right now. But you guys mean that much. You mean that much. I have a place in the world. And you made me believe I have a place in the world.
Mm. I mean, sometimes there are tears.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are tears, and the tears are real,
Mhm.
and they need to happen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Who
I'll
else?
go. I'll go. My surprise was, um, you hear the popular phrase, women supporting women, women empowering women. My surprise was this really was a thing and is still a thing among us women, that
Mm.
we do show up for each other and we do support each other and we surprise. Not for the moment, not for the first 90 days. And there was no um, quid pro quo. We just
Right.
genuinely wanted to show up for
Yeah.
each other. That was like, okay, is that? And I thought that was amazing. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. Catherine, you quiet.
Yeah, I have many
Drop a
surprises,
bomb.
but
That's what
one
I.
of my
I know, right?
one of one of my biggest surprises was, I've been very private about my writing. I've been writing ever since I was a kid, and I don't know particularly why. I mean, there's lots of ways to analyze why, but I was very private, didn't really talk about it. It has always been a love and an art. And
Mm.
the surprise was that this group pushed me, but pushed me with grace, but that I became much more public about being an author, about the fact that I took future out because I'm now 70 pages in, where when we started Morning Pages, there was only a few pages in. And so, to be able to work it into when I'm presenting in front of and doing keynotes, I'm now claiming that as a part of my identity. And it is adding to my understanding of my own indigeneity and what it means to be both ancestry of Chinese and Hawaiian. And so there's a level of claiming that not so much the claim is a surprise, but the being so public about it. And we walk in a world right now where there is so little acceptance for who we are as women of color, that to be able to be in a space where I know I'm going to be held up
Mm.
and be held accountable, that there's an intersection between the two, because it's also done with such great love.
Oh. That word. The biggest surprise for me is connected to the word love, that I would love all of the ups and downs of writing, the habit part of it,
Mm.
you really want me to do what? What that I've never done that thing before, but also just being loved by women and know that that doesn't come with strings, it comes with more love. And then love for myself, still a process of loving what I write, loving how it sounds in someone else's mouth. So
Mm,
the biggest surprise is what I didn't know, which is that love is a real thing. Like I can feel it, I can see it, I can touch it. Um, so yeah, grateful for that love.
Mm. I love that.
I think along the same lines, my biggest surprise was the ease.
The
Like
ease.
the ease, yeah.
Yeah.
And yes,
mm,
yeah, exactly that. It's gonna sound crazy because I've always had so much writing. I've always had so much like not just anxiety, but just stories and stuff. And writing can be hard. There's an ease with which when I come into the space, if we are because there isn't like you must produce this thing, it's just an invitation to write what shows up, right? And sometimes it's
right.
streams of consciousness, or sometimes there's a prompt, right? Or sometimes there are things you ask us to do, and every time it comes, right? The words come to paper, and there's a certain ease that I didn't expect to have
Mm.
be associated with writing that's coming to it. And there's an ease with who I'm becoming. I'm thinking about the fact that like my Reiki is not something that I share and I say out loud, right? And that comes from the love, accountability, and support that this group is giving. But there's just the way that like having done this so many times and now having it be my habit, writing now comes with ease, and that I think that's the biggest surprise.
Mm. I love
Great
that.
question, Joan.
Yeah.
Right.
That
I
was a
think
good
I
one.
want to. Yeah, it was really good. I know I already gave one, but I realized talking to actually Joan and Catherine yesterday. This was a yesterday realization where when you talk about surprises, I'm not gonna lie, this journal is a surprise
I was just going to say
because
that.
I like this. I'm holding. I am holding my journal in my hand, right? And it started because on June 2nd of this year, I don't even know how we got here. So maybe one of y'all can fill in the gaps. But I just remember before, I don't remember all of the before, but I remember I have a giant whiteboard in my office. And I remember being on the floor, my mouth hanging in disbelief that from the ideas that we were generating, Barbara, I think you said a little bit earlier about how like we just when you're ready to say I'm stuck, and I didn't even say I'm stuck. I don't know how we got there, but we got there. But be ready for what's to come. And there were three different ideas that came my way. And the journal was one of the ones that stuck. And I remember sitting there being like, this is possible. We can make this happen. Like this accomplishment that like could actually take place. And what people would actually be able to get from this journal would be just the beginning to getting their stories out. And so I remember being on the floor with my mouth. How y'all saw me. I wondered if I recorded it. I'm gonna have to go back and find because I might have recorded that particular day, but my
Yeah.
mouth was just on the floor with my body because I couldn't believe this was going to be the next step. Right. How did we get there, y'all? What happened that day?
You saw it, and we said yes.
Is
Sounds
that
about
what
right.
happened?
Sounds
It,
about right.
Regina just
So
redeemed
yeah,
me.
that
so what happens is so what happened was we started morning pages and we would write for 30 minutes and then we'd say, oh, have a nice day. But then it evolved where very shortly actually after is we write for 30 minutes and then we would have these spontaneous sort of community conversations that could last anywhere from 30 minutes to actually we have done them for 2 hours
2 hours,
and then late to work. And
and
but
had to
part of
cancel
that,
appointments.
I had to
yeah,
cancel appointments. Yeah.
and cancel appointments, is that what gets birthed is what Heather is holding. Because what my memory of is that we were talking about how we're not the only ones that get stuck with writing, and we're not the only women of color that have stories that desperately need to be told, because that is how we're going to create a movement. That is how we're going to be the change makers that we say we want to be. Is that, Heather, you have been saying since I met you that your commitment to have 1,000 women of color be published by 2025. And so that we were in that conversation, and what we talked about was that you have all these ideas, and why not put them in a book? And why not? And then then the birthing of like, well, what kind of why don't we do a journal? And at that point, I do remember you falling out of the hammock onto the floor. Because again, right, it was just a very organic conversation that was post morning pages that we now do every morning, right? And sometimes they last 20 minutes, sometimes they last 30. Folks hop in and off because they do need to go to work. But, there is these spontaneous moments where these ideas get birthed and we just feed it, right? We don't go, oh, that was my idea. I don't know why she did, right?
No.
That that none of that exists in this space and never has. And so it never will, right? And I think that, for all of you that are on this call, think about the kinds of spaces that you dream of being in. Think about the ways that you have been asked to check so many parts of yourself at the door to the point where you don't even know who walks in anymore. And know that this is a place that doesn't do that.
Yeah, this is the place where we get to peel back the layers, where we get to rediscover, because we talk about this often about how, like, when we were children, we knew who we were. And at some point that got stripped from us. And now we're spending all of our life trying to rediscover who we really were, because the rest of the world tried to tell us who we are. And because this space is specifically for women of color, right? We do that because there's a different layer of identity stripping that happens. There's a different layer of assimilation that we have to sometimes find ourselves in for protection. Like, there are different things that we have to go through in order to help move us through our everyday. And so when we're talking about sitting down and writing a book, we could easily write a book from someone else's perspective, from someone else's views of who we are, but that's not us being truly authentic to who we are. So what does it look like to use this space to not only write, but then to process and to peel back the layers and figure out why we are saying the things that we're saying, why we're doing the things that we're doing, how we can lovingly call people in and be like, that's the thing that you're missing. Or sometimes it's sit down. Like, we just, sometimes it's a little lovingly, but let's like, just sit down, breathe, whatever the thing is, right?
I'm just thinking about the word ignite. What does that mean to y'all? In terms of the flame and what the flame can do. And I just think about that little flame that burns. It's lit, it's burning. What's it burning to light up? And what are we burning down? What are we burning away? Burning away disbelief, burning away that we don't matter, burning away that we can't make authentic friendships with other women of color, with other women, burning away so that we can then light up. Like, if we had a candle in front of all of our faces, we'd light up the world. So I just been looking at the igniting and just thinking about what else do we want to ignite? Like, what does that word mean to you? Everybody here, what does that word ignite mean to you? Like, for you in your life, what do you want to ignite?
Y'all already know my answer. It's the stories.
Yeah.
The stories for me. Like, it breaks my heart when I hear people say they do not have a story. Like, something happened in their lifetime where someone told them or planted a seed that just never grew, that allowed them to believe that they had a story within them. And it breaks my heart. Like, I always say, people have at least 3 to 5 stories within them. At least 3. And then I've said that, but it's Joan laughing, because I said that before to Joan, and Joan was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then there she goes.
You need a blanket, girl.
You have to get right. I think I said the same thing to you, Cassie. You looked at me like, Byrd.
And you said it to me. Yes.
I'm pointing at you, Kathy. I'm pointing the wrong direction.
Down. You're down for me. Like, but people, like, that comes from somewhere. And so it's about igniting the 5-year-old within us again that believed that we can fly. It's the 5-year-old in us that believed that we had a story to tell. It's the 5-year-old that maybe got up on the stage and told a story and maybe even danced, but then somewhere in there, someone told you, stop dancing, stop singing at the top of your lungs, stop. And then eventually you just no longer felt like you did have the space to do it. And so what does it look like to ignite the stories within people? Find the stories, write the stories, put them out there in the world, make statements like, I'm a published poet. Come on.
Yes, that's Katrina.
Regina.
Hey, me and Joan.
Yes.
I'll
Katrina in
put,
the chat.
somebody else
Yeah.
go hold their feet to the fire here.
I'm just looking at what Katrina's saying. Ignite means to reopen my imagination from the
Imagination from the
past.
past.
Ooh, that part.
That's
Oh,
powerful.
Yes.
Very
Let's
powerful.
go.
Ooh,
Let's
I'm gonna
go.
write that down.
Yeah.
you know the
Yeah,
other,
that's another thing that we do often. Somebody says something, and then we inevitably have to grab our notebooks and write it down.
Write
We
it
need to collect all of these like bird seeds and nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
Well, another book.
Hey,
Facts.
just like when
Yeah.
Joan was saying something about one breath at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
poem that is now going to be the ending poem in my chapbook.
Wait, hold on. Say that one more time so people can hear it from the back.
Yeah, we need to hear it.
Hello.
It's going to be the ending poem in my chapbook.
What's gonna be the ending poem in your chapbook?
One breath,
And how did one breath get birthed?
because of Joan.
Mm.
Joan was the one that was talking about one breath at a time. And I was like, what does that mean? And I wrote it down.
Mm.
And it's one of the most free flowing, affirming statements of who I am and where I'm going that I've ever written.
Mm.
Wow.
Actually, this reminds me that actually Joan wrote a piece after our first literally our very first conversation,
Right.
I do remember that.
Which
I
one?
do
and
remember that.
it
My
validated
PhD.
so
Right.
much of
That
what I
came
had
from a
gone through. But it was
statement
Yeah,
but it was the first conversation that Joan and I ever had
Yeah,
in the group.
because in the
in
group,
the group.
I think that's what I it ignites, the imagination of everybody in the room, whether you're
Right.
talking or not, whether you're, able to be there for the writing part of it or not, whether you're in for 5 minutes or almost seems like 5 hours. It's that I was the biggest surprise to me was that the words that Catherine was saying were firing up something in me. And then I just had to go to the page. And so I wrote it. And then I've never met Catherine. I barely know her from like one interaction. And I sent it to you. Remember? I was like,
Right.
you inspired me to write this. And so that's where I feel the ignition, the igniting the flame of one other person who really authentically is being herself ignites something in me that makes us connect, and makes me write.
Yeah.
So it's not just me. I don't have to sit there on the mountaintop and figure it out by myself. It's
Right.
really being in community that ignites my imagination. And I think I'm so grateful for that. So grateful. Because that's why we have our notebooks, because you never know when someone is going to say something, you're like, ooh.
Yep.
And it may not mean something to other people, but you're like,
Right.
ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what Katrina said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that.
That was good.
And I think the other thing someone was talking about flame, and it made me think about the warmth and the it's not like a burning, it's more like a warming, and that I think is another thing that is for real in this group, is that it's a constant warming of my spirit.
Mm.
And that, it's real hard to write when your hands cold. So I'm just saying.
Well,
Well,
that's facts. Yo, can someone, no, not this one, validate this right here?
yes.
I've been waiting, hopping on that
Yes.
for a minute.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
keep unmuting and muting and waiting. Katrina, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, that an ignition, right? There is something along the way, something that takes you away from that, right? From that, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It could be having your children. It consumes all of the energy you have. For me, it was being told during my honors thesis that I was a terrible writer. Something happens that like takes the fire out, that dims right your love, your imagination, your ability to produce something along comes along. And when I think about igniting things, I think about the spark that turns on that flame again. Because it's not learning to become a writer out of nowhere. It's in here, it's in us, it's remembering that it was always there. Right? It's remembering that part of us that used to be able to create, that used to be able to make up a song on the fly. Y'all remember jumping rope? And we just come up with rhymes and make up songs. It's been in us. It's always been there. And something somewhere dims the light, pours water on it, turns it out. And then this process is like that for me, that's the ignition, right? That's the ignite. That's that strike of the match is the come here, come into this community and let us support you and rekindle that flame. And the other piece that fits in here, Joan, when you say it's being in community, for me, like this image of a lone rider going off to the woods somewhere in the mountains to be alone, to create this masterpiece is so unreal, and it's so unlike how we create and produce and live and give as women of color. So much of our greatness comes from being in community with each other. It comes from the community, from the give and take, from being able to have a voice. Even that word warning, right? Like that when we come together, part of what is create. And what I could have created alone then becomes multiplied, right? I could maybe create a great poem by myself, but after it's been through this community, people have poured into it, and you've been like, have you thought about this? And there's been that process, then it's a badass poem, right? Like it elevates whatever the it is above and beyond. And I think there's something about being in a community of us where we are affirmed, we're validated, we're seen, we're heard, that makes whatever we create that much more magnificent. So that's what I think.
Yes.
And I would add that, I have children, and I'm feeling so proud that my daughters are watching me be in community with other women who are writing. They're seeing it happen in real time. They're seeing me dedicate my time to this. They're seeing me show up. They're seeing me do the life of a writer. This is what it looks like.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
This is also what it looks like. And so to Katrina, yes, I did. I left. I couldn't even read because I was doing so much work and things for my family. And it seems counterintuitive, but the truth is that we have to have our flame lit as women in our families so that other people can remember they have a light. So that what Heather was saying, they don't forget they have a story. They actually write their story. They sing their story. They dance their story. They shout their story. All of that, right? And in spaces where they're telling us that you have to put yourself, your light aside for others. No, it's not that. It's like, keep your light lit so they can see theirs.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yo. And I think that's one of the really beautiful things, right? Because we've mentioned several times, and I will continue to remind people, I am not a morning person. So it's really
We know.
Look here.
So we know.
It's really, y'all know now, right?
We
But like when I
know.
tell people about this community and like what we're doing, they laughing because there are days, y'all, that
She tired. She be tired. She's just tired.
I have the YMCA calendar that I'm trying to fulfill, apparently. And then there are days where I don't hear the alarm, or I forget to set the alarm, or I set it for PM instead of AM, or I do something, I don't even know what I did.
Or you dream that you had the entire morning.
Or the dream that you had that you did the whole thing and you weren't.
That was a thing. But here are two things. One is I am not a morning person, but I will get up for two things. Before this group, I got up for volleyball only. When I started this group, I was the guardian of my nephew. Y'all know, if y'all know me, y'all know me and my nephew Chubbs are, that kid is my heart. And I was his guardian for about 18 months. And when we pulled this together, because everybody was yesing me and it wasn't happening, I was like, haha, we have a tendency to show up for others before we show up for ourselves. I got y'all. My problem solving brain like kicked in, right? And I was like, when can we do this? And when I tell y'all, I tried everything in my power to make things happen later in the day. But I know later in the day, I'll have all the intentions of doing all the things that I said I was going to do. But then I'll get through with my 9 to 5. I'll drive home in traffic. I'm still hungry. And then who knows what the kid needs, what I need, what thing might have broken, or I'm just tired. So I know for a fact that if I were to set something in the evening, for me, it wasn't going to work, right? Because I would have all intentions and then the world would be like, haha, you had a plan. I'm going to laugh at you, right? So I had to set this in the morning. And it's it's an incentive to do it in the morning because you do it before the rest of the world gets a hold of you. You get to open up your journal, whether it's the guided journal or your own journal, and you get to answer the questions, write 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing before the rest of the world gets a hold of you, before you hit traffic, before the kids are nagging you, before maybe even your stomach start growling because your body ain't even up yet. You don't even know you hungry yet, right? But you are dedicating time to write. Now, there are days where I have all the intentions of showing up. And every now and then, your girl sleeps through the alarm. But here's the beautiful part. Catherine, Joan, Regina, Cassie, Barbara, y'all are seeing Kim in the chat. We have so many others. Teresa, Shaquana. They will all pop on without me, find a way to still meet and write together. Catherine always talks about how, you know, when you at your professor, when you're in college and your professor didn't show up that 15-minute rule, you were out. They give me like 3 minutes. If they don't see me, granted, we only write for 30 minutes, but like 3 minutes, they hop in Slack and they're like, y'all still in the waiting room? No, okay. Here's another link we meet. No, we're gonna do a Slack huddle. Like, it means that much to our own routine and who we are as beings and how we show up in the world, that when there are days when I need to rest, they still meet. So I needed to like
That's real.
Yeah, it's real. It's gonna say because life,
Yeah.
and that's okay in this group.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they come looking for me. They will
And
come.
we will.
Just like I look for
Just like
Cassie.
I was just gonna say, we will look for Cassie.
Y'all come looking for me. You all right? Did you just
Yep.
oversleep, Heather? Did you have a dream again, Heather? It's real. It's real. It's real. It is.
I do want to uplift the little thing there before we end. Igniting Inc. gives us, this is from Kim, Igniting Inc. gives us a community permission to start and restart.
Yeah.
I just want to drop that in there because sometimes we can take ourselves away from when we show up because we expect it to be a consistent, all the time, straight line, you know, like the Hallmark movie or something. No, it's like start, restart, hop off, need to leave, lives. People come and ask about you. I just want to make sure that writers realize reset, restart, come back, say, I'm stuck.
Facts. And we will be here for you every single time because I've been threatened officially.
And I wanted to like highlight that word permission, because that is something that comes up constantly in our group, that we give ourselves permission and we give each other permission. Whatever it is that we need, the permission is there. I mean, we already know it.
Yeah.
And it's so life-giving. And it helps us not to beat up on ourselves.
Facts.
Facts.
Facts on facts. Well, we are coming up on a close, y'all. But before we log off and let folks go off for their evenings, and before we wake up in less than 12 hours and be together again,
That's a long time.
it's a long time. You know, there's a lot I can get done in 12 hours.
Yep.
Look here, if you haven't already realized the possibility of what daily writing can happen, having a healthy writing habit is something that really is not only for your book projects, but for how you show up in life. In order for you sometimes to even find the book that you want to write, you have to write on the daily basis. I always say that it takes me 3 pages. It takes me 3 pages. I can have the best idea, and I tell people I don't really know what that idea is truly about until I write. And then 3 pages in, I find what the real thing I should be writing about that I might have ran away from that I didn't want to acknowledge for whatever reason. I wasn't ready or I just didn't know. But the journaling piece of it allows you to get to what you need. And so this week, what we really wanted to be able to have a conversation with you all about was around cultivating a healthy habit, right? That is the first week within Igniting Ink. It is a 30-day writing journal with affirmations, prompts, and inspiration for aspiring women of color authors. We want you all to have your books, your stories on shelves, in classrooms, in bookstores, in other people's hands. I have a goal of getting this journal into 3,000 people's hands. 3,000 women of color being ignited in order for them to begin their writing journey, because this is only the beginning. This journal then leads into this amazing group where you then get to wake up and show up and be in space and do your writing with this journal to just get you started. Imagine what you can do in 30 minutes. It's absolutely amazing. So if you haven't already gotten your journal yet, please, please, please check out ignitingink.com to get your copy of your journal. Today is the official launch for the journal, and I am getting just so much feedback of folks being I'm so excited.
And that's the journal.
I'm gonna do mine like this because
wait, hold on. That's not what I want. This is what I want. Hey, fireworks. And there we go. That's what I really want. This is what I really wanted. Yo, this is a game changer. This journal is the thing that you needed to get started writing. If you've ever said I wanted to write a book but didn't know how, establishing your habit of writing every day, because if you think you're just going to pick up a pen and be able to write the thing you need to write and show up on the page you need to show up, it's like saying I'm going to run a marathon and then just wake up the next day and try to run 26 miles. You're going to be real, that Cassie laugh, right? You're going to be real mad at yourself, right? And so being able to establish your healthy habit is going to start here. So before we hop off, I would love to be able to ask you all, what is a habit, a healthy habit that you have developed while being in this group, while engaging in writing? What is a healthy habit? Oh, you got one.
I got one. It's the 3 pages.
what?
The 3 pages. I will not stop until I get to the end of the 3rd page now. And I think that's my healthy habit. It gives me the 3 pages. Get to it.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
For me, it's committing and recommitting to writing daily, and carrying it into the weekend.
So you're showing up even when nobody's looking.
Yeah, she is.
And carrying other people along with her.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know y'all will find me and feel like, well, so what happened? So it's because you're there. They're not watching from a screen, but you're here.
Yeah.
Right. My healthy habit is realizing how much I can write in 30 minutes. And so this feeling like I have to set aside blocks of time that I feel I don't have because I'm also working. But the healthy habit was realizing that I can set aside 30 minutes and I can get, half a chapter written. before, pre-edited, but certainly get the raw material out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me.
Oh, go ahead, Regina. Go ahead.
I
Cassie,
don't know
go.
who was talking.
Cassie.
Well, I'll go ahead. I think one of the things that I have learned is how to use that time really well in editing and going back. And I've also learned to go back and read the writing that I'm doing during that 30 minutes and finding the kernels in there that are going to go into the next poem.
That right there.
Mm, 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 mm.
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
My healthy habit is a very simple one. Write it down. I used to walk around with all these stories in my head. Write it down. Write it down. So yeah, I have a regular journal. I have a journal on my desk. I walk around with a little journal. I got a small journal, a mini journal. Like write it down.
That's
And
awesome.
it's a healthy habit because, well, Byrd would tell you, I am the sticky note queen. I will stick. I remove most of them before I came on here. I removed most of them before I came on here. I mean, it was colorful, but I'm gonna leave them up next time. Write it down. You just never know. You just never know. You see, I just like shove them in the drawer. Right.
Yeah.
Write it down, and you'll be surprised. As I was taking the sticky note down, I was like, "Oh my god!" I didn't just want to write it down. That's become my healthy habit because it's going to escape you. It's going to leave you. Kind of similar to what we talked about this morning. My healthy habit is write it down. Write it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you all. I want to thank you all so much for being in this space, for sharing your stories with others. For those of you all who joined us, thank you so much, Kim. Thank you so much, Katrina. AJ,
Yes.
if you are still here, thank you so much for being with us. There are a few other people that I think I missed that were on here, but if you end up watching this in the replay, make sure you let us know by typing #replay so that so that we know that you were here and we can engage with you, because this conversation is going to continue, not just for today, but we're going to be going live every Tuesday in August to talk about our journeys, right? This journal is broken up into 4 different sections, one for each week, right? And so today we were talking about cultivating healthy habits. Next week, we're going to be talking about overcoming our doubts and our fears when it comes to writing. The week after that, we'll be talking about what it looks like to actually unleash your story. And then the 4th week, we'll be talking about embracing your unique voice and vision. So make sure you are joining with us. All of these beautiful, beautiful women who are with us, they each have their own individual projects that they are working on. So we're talking about igniting our ink. We're talking about this journal, but this isn't just about this. It is so much bigger than us. So you all will learn more about their projects. You will learn how to support them. You will be along with us on this journey, right? And as a birthday gift to you all, because my birthday is Saturday, y'all. Like, I was intentional about this one. And then I learned it's National Black Business Month, y'all. I never keep up with holidays. I'm really bad with holidays. And I was on the phone with somebody and they're like, "You're releasing your book today? You know, did you do that on purpose because it's National Black?" And I was like, "Ooh, well, look at the universe aligning for me, right?" But I wanted to be able to,
because you're magical.
You know, I am. I keep what I say the other day. Somebody wrote it down.
I didn't want to say it, but I know exactly what it is.
If y'all are watching this live and you're a part of my audience, you know I cuss, so I ain't really worried about it. What did I say?
My ass is magic, and I can't always plan it.
It just came out my mouth, y'all. I didn't even, and then they were like, "What?" and wrote it down
for word.
She said word for word. There are no coincidences. I put things out there in the universe and they align. And
Yes.
this is just proof of what that looks like, right? But if you're saying, look, I'm an educator, I have to be at my school at 7:15 in the morning, or you work the third shift and you're just getting off at
Yeah.
7 o'clock in the morning and you can't really hop on at 6:30 in the morning. There is that benefit to writing in the morning, but when I tell you, I completely understand when life, you got to get the kids ready in the morning. Whatever that thing is for you, I understand what that looks like. So what I would love to be able to do is offer an evening writing space for folks who are interested. If you're like, I'm stuck and I don't even know where to begin, or you're like, I don't have the time to really sit down and do the thing because I haven't carved it out and put it in my calendar, now is the time to get started. So when you buy a copy of Igniting Ink, what we can do with you all is on Wednesdays at 6:30 Central Time for an hour, we will be able to carve out time to where you will be able to not only work on your daily entry for your journal, but also do some journaling on your own or work towards your book project, right? And so if that is a space that you all are interested in, we're going to be doing 8 sessions on Wednesdays, and they will be our evening pages space. And it will be an opportunity again for you to come together, be in community with others, and write with other folks, right? So if you're interested in that, I am offering a space for $77. Y'all could hop in there for 8 sessions for an hour once a week and be in community with us to get your projects done. Our books, our voices, that space that we need needs to happen for us. So whoever told you you were not a writer, your book isn't worthy, your story shouldn't be told, wait till somebody else tells your story, but you know they're going to tell it wrong. This is going to be the space for you all to be here, right? So get your copy of Igniting Ink. There will be a space for you either in the morning or the afternoon where you can join us and get your writing done. I want to thank you all so much for being in this space. Catherine, Joan, Cassie, Regina, Barbara, I love y'all so much.
Oh, you're welcome, boo.
We love you too.
We love you.
Me
Love
too.
you
Me
too.
too. Love.
Oh, look,
She and I got the
we
hand.
will be back together on Tuesday to be with us. If there are topics or things that you want us to talk about too, make sure you drop those in the chat. Be kind and share. If you know somebody who's been wanting to write a book who hasn't been a part of this process just yet, go ahead, tag them in this. And we will see y'all on Tuesday. Thank y'all so much. And until next time, keep reading, keep writing, and always keep flying,
Bye
y'all.
bye.
Say a hooey ho until we meet again.
Bye.